Hi, it's Kim from Dorothy's Daughter. Welcome to my channel. I'm back today to talk to you about sewing expos or conventions, but I think in the sewing world they're mostly called expos. They're a fantastic chance to get your hands on all the products, to meet other sewists, to take classes, and generally just get some support for your creative endeavors. I have been to many, and I would like to just share my top 12 tips on attending a sewing expo and how to get the most out of it. All right, so tip number 1, write down your goals for attending. What is it you plan to do? What are the things that you would like to take home? Do you want to increase your knowledge? Then you might want to sign up for more classes. Do you want to shop? Then you probably want to spend more time, allot yourself more time on the exhibit floor. Are you going to meet people? Then make sure you take some cards with your email address and all those things on it so that you can swap with other people and keep in touch. Tip number 2, have a budget and stick to it. Usually I'll set a budget for like around $150, and I'll tell myself I won't go over it. What that does is it helps make you a little bit choosy about what you do, what you want to purchase, and it makes you think a little bit more instead of just grabbing everything that you see. Tip number 3, go with a shopping list. I did this last time, and I had several things on my list. Not only have a shopping list, but do a little investigated shopping before you go. See how things are on Amazon, how much they're selling for on websites, or even at your local Joann's, and have that shopping list with a little bit of knowledge about how much things should cost. I actually found several things. You would think it would be cheaper at an expo, but I found several items that were on my list that were actually pricier there than what I could do with a coupon at Joann's. So definitely do a little investigative work. Granted, you're always going to find things that you want to pick up that maybe you've never seen before or whatever. But the things that you're looking for, one thing I was looking for this time were the So Keezy tapes by Emma Seabrook, which are amazing knit stay tapes. Unfortunately, they didn't have them anywhere at this expo. Like I said in the last video, they didn't, this expo was not geared toward apparel sewing. If you were a quilter, it was fantastic. But for apparel sewing, it was not the best. But anyway, tell yourself, are these pins or these rotary cutter blades or whatever, can I get this at Joann's with a 40% off coupon, which they have all the time, or Hobby Lobby? Can I purchase that with a coupon somewhere less expensive, and then, keep your wallet in your bag? Number 4, look for unusual and helpful products. Like this last time, I knew you can't just go to Joann's or Hobby Lobby and purchase one of these surgical seam rippers from Kathy Ruddy. I knew when I saw those, I knew it was something that I've kind of always looked at, that I knew from other people that they work really well, and it's something that I couldn't really get anywhere else. And I would probably pay $5 shipping for a $4 item. So anyway, just those are the kind of things to look for. Look for new feet. The Scissor Man is always at these expos, and he has wonderful, fairly priced scissors, and they honestly are some of the best scissors I have. Show prices, look for show prices. I wouldn't necessarily go with the idea of buying a machine. But if you are looking for one, you could probably get some fantastic deals on the show floor, because that was the show prices were pretty incredible for what they had out there. Number 5, choose classes that expand your skills. And I know that sounds really like, hello, Captain Obvious. But honestly, our tendency is to go, oh, I do a lot of serging, I'll take that class. Or, I sew with knits all the time, I'm going to take a class on how to sew with knits. No. Go to the classes, expand your knowledge. One of the best classes I went to a few years ago was on the Pseudonico inks. I learned how to use fabric ink to turn plain fabric into wonderful things. It was just I have done so much with that, and it was something new. It was something different, and those are the kind of classes to look for. Things that will expand your creativity. If you already sew with knits successfully, don't go to that class. I mean, you might learn a few tips and tricks, but you probably aren't going to learn as much or expand your sewing skills as much as going to something that interests you, but that you don't know how to do. Number 6, walk the expo floor completely before buying. And I know it takes time, but if you walk up and down every aisle and, kind of take a note, take a picture if you need to, just so you remember where it was. You budget, so you don't want to buy something here and then find something 2 aisles over that you would have rather had. Or find the same item cheaper, which does happen. So do that, and then after you walk the floor, go back through and make your purchases, because then you'll stick to your budget a little better. And this one, tip number 7, it's probably going to be unpopular because your tendency is to keep your debit card or your wallet super close so that you can just grab it and buy things. Honestly, put it somewhere where you have to work a little to get it, because that'll make you think a little bit about whether you really want that thing. Because the tendency and believe me, the vendors, they bank on it, that people are going to make, just purchases out of, just a whim. And so you don't want to do that. You really want to think about it. So if you have to dig just a little bit for your money envelope or your wallet or however you're paying for things, somebody said go without your wallet. Well, I wouldn't do that because you actually may find some very useful things. So, but I would make it a little harder on yourself to be able to purchase, because now when you go back through the second time to go purchase the things that you decided on, then you might want to keep your wallet closed. But when you're just initially walking through and browsing, put that thing in the bottom of whatever bag you're carrying, because it'll just be easier for you to stay on budget, because there are so many pretty things, and they are so tempting. So tempting. I could have, even at this one that didn't have a lot of apparel sewing, I could have spent a fortune because there's just so many nice things. Number 8, look for fabrics, especially that you cannot find in your local area, that are hard to source in your area. Some people are lucky enough to live in New York or Chicago, places where you can have a place to go where they carry beautiful silks and things like that. In my area here, we are limited to Hobby Lobby and Joann's, which I'm not knocking them because I do a lot of purchasing at both places. They have some wonderful things, but there are some things that you just cannot find locally. So when you go to a sewing expo, go and just look at the things, make your eye go to things that you know you can't get anywhere else. And remember, as you're looking, make sure to touch and feel all the fabric. Go if it's out of your price range, no matter. Go and touch. There was some $42 a yard, beautiful 100% wool coating that was just amazing at this booth. And honestly, I was tempted to spend my entire budget. It was lilac color. It was just beautiful. And all I could think of was, I'll actually put a picture of the pattern up here. All I could think of was to sew over it clear coat in this lilac coating. And I wanted so much to just spend my entire budget there. I almost did, actually, until I got to the Vogue Fabric booth and found some of the things that I was actually looking for. So, but touch them all. I mean, when you touch fabric and you get accustomed to feeling what the good stuff feels like, then when you go to Joann's and you feel a rayon, you know, is it really cheap? Maybe it's not the best cut of fabric. And then you also will know, hey, this stuff feels pretty good. So touch all the fabric. It's like a petting zoo for fabric. So it's amazing. Speaking of petting zoo, my tip number 9 is play with all the machines. They're there for you to play with, and you'll get the spiel from the salesman, and that's okay. I wasn't shopping for a machine this weekend, but I love to dream, and I am saving up for, actually I'm saving for a Janome Horizon. I think it's the H5, the top of the line, and I sat down and sewed on that at the workshop, and it made me all the more I want that machine. I played with a couple cover stitch machines. I looked at some other sergers. I pretty much love Janome, but I looked at some baby lock things, and I looked at Juki, and you could play with them. And then you never know when you're going to have a budget and be able to purchase something, and then you'll have a more educated educated knowledge about what to buy. So definitely, sewing machines are like cars. You get used to your sewing machine, you drive it like a car, and it's a very personal choice of what you sew on. So you want to play with them, because obviously here in my area we have like one sewing machine dealer in town, I believe. So maybe, I'm thinking there might be, there's actually, if you count Joann's, there's like 3. There's a quilt shop, I think, that sells baby lock that I actually have never been to, which I probably should stop out there. But there's another store that sells Janome and Brother, and I think they might sell Viking as well. And then there's another store, Joann's, that sells Singer and Viking. So you need to just be able to see them all, so that you know what it is you like to sew on and what you want to save up for the future. Number 10, enter all the drawings. There are so many gifts and prizes given away at expos. And no, I've never won anything, but I do try. But my other tip on that is, when they have the drawing at the end, stay at the expo till the very end. Even if you have to go eat and come back or whatever. Saturday at the Sewing Expo in Cleveland, for the main top prize, which was a Pfaff machine, which was amazing, they drew, I think, 4 names of people who were not there. And I kept thinking, those people could have won a sewing machine if they'd probably just stayed another half hour or whatever. So if you enter a drawing, stay till the end, because most of those super prize drawings at expos, you have to be present to win. So just a tip, definitely stay. Number 11 is make new friends. Sewing buddies are a treasure and they're rare, and it's an opportunity to meet people. And if you're close by, you could be making a good friend that's in your area. Most likely I have to travel a bit, but I have met some great people that I've exchanged email addresses with, and it's an opportunity to maybe even meet up with people that you've been following on Instagram or whatever. So definitely make use of that social time, that networking. And number 12 is kind of a no-brainer, but it's have fun. I mean, don't get too stressed about, all the do's and don'ts. Have a great time. It's just so much fun to go and connect with other people who love the same things you love, and see things that other people are creating, and it just inspires so many creative juices, and you just come home so ready to just dig into what you love to do. So just have fun. So those are my 12 tips for surviving a sewing expo. I'd like to leave you today with a blessing. And it comes out of God's Word, 2 Corinthians 9:8. And God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that having all sufficiency in all things at all times, you may abound in every good work. May your sewing always be good work. May you abound in His blessings. Happy sewing.